Hi everybody, Sherry here. Welcome to today's video. In today's video we're making a Japanese apron tunic, and this is a very fun and easy project. The first thing you want to do is cut the sleeves off your shirt. I'm using a men's, I think a 2X here, but just remember the larger the shirt, the bigger the apron is going to be. You can use a women's shirt, but just, you want to make sure it's big enough. And then I'm cutting the back piece out right off the back there, and now I'm going to lay it flat like this with the two fronts facing each other and with the back, and I'm going to cut an angle like that, and you can see the back is a little wadded up there, but you're going to fold it like that and you're going to cut an angle. You see me right here making this angled cut. You don't have to make it exact. You probably could almost go straight down, but I wanted to do mine this way, and you're going to come straight across even with the bottom of the sleeve. And this is the accent fabric I'm using. I believe it's a upcycled piece of linen of a tablecloth that I liked, but it's very open weave. So some of this that I'm doing you won't have to do if you're using a tighter weave fabric. Like if you were using a denim, you wouldn't have to do some of the things I'm doing here, so keep that in mind. I'll try to point it out as we go along. But I cut about a 4-inch piece, 3.5-4-inch piece for my straps that I will fold over. You saw that. And now I'm checking the fabric to make sure which way it pulls the least. And I'm going to cut a little front piece that will be like the little bib front of this apron tunic. And it is 2.5 inches by 9.5 inches. You can make yours longer, taller, whatever works for you. I think a person could almost use the collar of a shirt also for this and cut it. And then I'm going to use the rest of my fabric to make two really nice sized pockets. And I'm trimming it up, and I want them as big as I can. First, I wasn't sure if I was going to cut that hem off, but I changed my mind, decided to use the whole thing, and I would just seam rip that hem off so that it matches all the way around. And I have my pieces. I serged all my edges, raw edges of the shirt, but you can just zigzag them or not even do that. Like you could leave them raw. And I'm folding them under about 1/4 inch, so I'll have a hemmed edge. The reason I'm doing this with this shirt is it has about a 60% linen mix, and also the fabric I used for the pockets and for the contrast is also linen mix, but it's pretty big weave, and I was afraid it would just unravel. And I want this to be able to wash this garment. I wanted whoever gets this one will be for sale in my shop. I wanted them to be able to wash this thing easily. Just toss it in, regular, just do a regular load, not have to be all finicky with it. And the fabric has a nice feel to it. Like I said, it is a linen mix, and it is a little bit springy though, and I did struggle a little bit trying to tuck things in. And so here I'm trying to decide how to do this so it will last. And so I've decided to basically turn it right sides together, and I'm just going to stitch around it, leaving one narrow of the ends open, and I'm going to turn it inside out so that when I get done I will have a 4-layer seam sewn together, because the straps are going to pull on this part. I do not want this coming apart. I want it to be strong. I want it to last, and when I'm doing this, I'm thinking how I can make the best garment possible. And so now I'm going to turn it inside out, and I straight stitched and zigzagged it. Like I'm really trying to lock this thing in. And here you'll see me grab a chopstick and turn it inside out. And now I'm going to flatten it with my fingers, and you could press this. But I usually just use my fingers. It's faster, trying to make as many garments as I can, but make them good. And I'm going to use a straight stitch, and I'm just going to top stitch it. And I'm making sure that my seam is folded out. And when I get down to the end, I'll just fold it in about 1/4 inch. It's a little tricky with this fabric because it is springy, and it gave me a little bit of a struggle here, but I managed to just fold it in. Like I said, if you're doing this at home, you could press this. You could take it out and take your time and press it. And usually if I get my corner folded good and I get pivoted on the corner, then I can use even a stick or something. I can pull on it, which makes it tight. And then I can use my little stick there to make sure it goes in flat, and see how nice and flat that is, and I make sure the whole thing's laying flat. And we're going to do, and that way now by me folding that over, I now have 4 layers that I've sewn through to hook my straps to and to hook the lower part to. And that, to me, that's important. I want to keep, if you want to keep garments out of the landfill and stuff like that, they got to hold together. So here I struggled, I actually ended up taking this off twice. Once because I didn't like how it went on. The second time I decided to lower it. This shirt I'm using is designed to be it's a men's shirt, but it's designed to go way down and towards your knees. And it was just too long when I got the apron done. It was too long, so I did end up shortening it 2 inches. My other one I did I did not have to. And here I'm doing the same thing. You see me doing it here with the straps. I'm going to turn them inside out. And for that, I've got one of those sticks like used for scrunchies, and I did that. You can kind of see it in the background there. It's on a board back there. And I'm doing the same thing. I'm pressing it down, making sure that my edges are good. And I'm top stitching this again with a straight stitch. And that way I've got also the straps are very strong. And I'm not sure why my camera there is wobbling, but it just decided to do that. Now I'm sewing the front straps on. Now if you're making this for yourself, I suggest sewing your back strap pieces on first, pulling it over on the front, and then pinning it when the garment fits you like you want it to fit. I did end up taking, my straps were quite a bit too long. I ended up having to take 5 to 6 inches off of my straps. And so this way you would be able to see exactly the length you need it. And so that's how I suggest doing it at home when you go to do it, and to make sure you get your measurement correct. And so I put some buttons on, and now make sure that it lays flat, like you've got your front down flat, and you're going to hook the strap will go from the right side to the opposite. So left on the back, right on the front to the left on the back, because it crisscrosses in the back. Once you've got that pinned on, and if it's wide, see how it's a little too wide there? It doesn't matter. You can just make it fit and make some little folds there. It's fine. It looks cute as can be. And you don't have to, fuss over it. Don't have to worry about it. I did end up shortening these, like I said, about 5 inches. But it will depend on your body type and how you want it to fit, the length of those straps. So I suggest sewing the back on first, and then pinning the front where it fits good, and then sewing your front on last. Okay, so here I'm really making sure that stays down. I zigzagged over that like 4 and 5 times. And now my pockets, and if this was just knit or this was just denim, I would just sew it on, have a cute little raw seam edge, or sometimes I serge them and then sew them down with the serged edge as my edge. But on this one, it's so open weave, I'm very concerned about it just coming loose, falling off, leaving a hole. And we like to put things in our pockets, and I was thinking, what if somebody decide to use this as a kitchen apron and they were sticking a rolling pin in there? Like, I want to make sure that it's going to hold up, to whatever that they put it through. So I decided to go to my serger, and I wanted to show you a piece of my tip here with my serger in case you do have one that I learned. I mean, maybe everybody knows this, but what I learned was that when you come to a corner with your serger, if you go past and then you lift the foot up and set it back down, it makes this really nice loop. And because serger, a thread will just unravel. And then that gives you a little loop there where it doesn't unravel. And if you were just sewing it down with the serged side up, you can tuck it under just like that. But I'm going to fold it under to give me an extra grip of fabric there. And I did a 1/4 inch on the pockets, just like I did on the main piece. And now I can safely clip those off because I am folding it under, and I'm tacking down the serger thread. So that is how I did this one. And every garment is a little different when I build it. If I was making this out of denim, I would not fold it over. I would just have a cute little denim frayed edge or some sort of thing, or just use actual denim pockets, from jeans or whatever on it. And every item, this reason I like to upcycle, because everything I make even though I'm following the same design, the process, I will add new things and do new things. Every piece is its own individual little piece of art and has its own character and its own design. And so now I'm like, I want to put a button on this, so I'm going to give myself about an inch here. I'm going to fold it over and I'm going to do straight stitch, same thing. I'm just going to come across and give myself a double layer there to hook that button to, and so that it won't fall off either. And I use my machine when I put buttons on because they just don't stay on as well when I hand sew them. And this really, really gives the best chance that button isn't going to stay there, and it's faster. So what I do is I drop my feed dogs, or I'll just set it on 0, and so it doesn't move forwards or backwards. And I will do the first stitch or two by hand. I turn the wheel over by hand to make sure it's missing and it's in the hole. And then I will proceed to go very slow with the machine. It looks fast because I have this sped up, but I actually go back and forth very slow. And I usually do about 10 stitches to make sure that I have got plenty of grip there, because I don't want that coming off. I don't want somebody losing that button. And so now I'm pinning it on. We are almost done here. And pin them on where you like them. I try to make sure they were the same height from the top or from the sides. And just take your time and get your pockets where you want them. And I really like the big pockets on this. It came out exactly as I imagined it would. I was quite chuffed, quite pleased with this one, and it's not a hard project. I did struggle a little bit because the shirt was longer and I had to bring a couple inches down from the top and take, like I said, from this picture here, it doesn't show it, but I had to take about 5 and 6 inches out of the straps, and I did take 2 inches down from the top. And then I just go over on my machine, of course. I usually use a zigzag, and I will give it a 2 or 3 zigzags at the top here, because if your pocket goes to tear, it usually tears at the top of your pocket. And so I make that a little bit wider there so that there's a little bit more strength in it if you shoving things in and out of your pocket. And keeping it nice and flat, I'm just stitching that pocket on. And all I've got left, I was going to put a couple little patches on the back, and we're basically done here. I loved it, and thank you so much everybody who likes, shares my videos, and subscribes. I appreciate it so much. You're all such a blessing, and I hope to be able to put out some more extra footage. And look, isn't it cute? It turned out really cute. I really liked it. It's super comfortable. And there's the one I did with denim and a red plaid, and it turned out really cute too. Both of those will be in my shop. Thank you so much for watching. I love each and every one of you, and God bless, and until next time, happy sewing.